I think everyone knows about the PlayStation. The PlayStation is one of the best-selling consoles of all time, but not many know about how the PlayStation was originally going to be a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. Yes, this is real. This is not some weird fanfic you can find on one of those weird websites. Development of the SNES CD add-on was started in 1988 with Nintendo and Sony partnering. In 1991, Sony revealed an SNES-compatible cartridge CD console called the PlayStation, or the Nintendo PlayStation. After Nintendo looked at their contract with Sony, they didn't like it. Under the agreement, Sony would develop and be in control of the Super Disc format, which is going to be used for the Nintendo PlayStation. Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi was a little mad at Sony, so he decided to cheat on Sony with Philips. Now, Philips was one of Sony's biggest rivals at the time, and with Nintendo making a deal with Philips instead to make a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo and also allow Nintendo characters on their own console, the Philips CDI. A day after Sony showed off their cool SNES CD console thingy, Nintendo revealed their partnership with Philips. Now, the partnership with Philips was a big fuck you to Sony, and Sony became big mad, so they decided to work on their own console. The planned SNES CD add-on, or just add-on for like other things, was never released. One reason might be because of the Sega CD, which is also a CD add-on for the Sega Genesis instead. The add-on sold okay, but I don't think there's that many fans of the Sega CD. The poor reception of the Sega CD most likely had Nintendo cancel their plans for the CD add-on, for their own add-on for the SNES. Well, that didn't work out. Well, what about the Philips CDI? On the Philips CDI, we got such classics like Hotel Mario and Link, The Faces of Evil. Now, I know these games are classics and masterpieces and are considered like one of the greatest games of all time, but oddly enough, this console didn't even sell that well. I wonder why.
Lots of spaghetti.
Sony was working on their own console and eventually released their own console called the PlayStation. Nintendo eventually released their next home console, the Nintendo 64, and then lost to the PlayStation. So that's a short little history lesson on the PlayStation. And after that, the other PlayStation consoles released being massive successes, with the PlayStation 2 still being the best-selling console of all time, man. Well, Nintendo didn't really do that well after the PS1 was released. The GameCube and Wii U became some of Nintendo's worst-selling consoles of all time, and well, the Wii was a big success after like a while, like around 2011. The Wii didn't really do that well. But I am a Nintendo cultist, so I have to say Nintendo was better. In November of 2015, it was reported that the original Nintendo PlayStation prototypes have been found, and eventually later on, they were found, and so that's very cool. You can see like the picture and stuff of like this console that never really released and stuff. So yeah, that's very fun. And there's also videos out there of showing like I guess the specs and like how this looked like and like where you would put your funny things in it. So yeah, it's very cool to see this actually be found, because this is pretty cool. This is kind of where like the PlayStation started to kick Nintendo's ass and stuff. So yeah. Here we can also see that of like how the console may or may not have looked like. I mean, this is just a prototype, but I guess again it looks like a more it looks like a Super Nintendo because no shit me. But it looks like it looks more like a box Super Nintendo. It looks like more blocky and stuff. You can see there's the controller ports and there's like the cartridge thing on top. Anyway, over here we can see like the buttons to like eject the cartridge and a reset button. We also see like these things which I guess when used for like music CDs and stuff. You also see down here it's like the disc slot where we can pull like your games and stuff. And over here we got like a power thing, the power button. We also have like a fucking headphone jack, because of course you need a headphone jack. Every Super Nintendo needs a headphone jack. So yeah, there's also, yeah, like I said, there's videos out there where they show more of this mythical beast. So if you would like, so yeah. So yeah, that's it. Bye gamers. Game on and shit.